In a world of misconceptions and stereotypes, in a time when healthy eating is considered to be boring, bland, expensive, and most of all complicated, we're taking the four-letter word out of healthy eating. That is the H word. Each week, we will bring you an exciting, healthy recipe that is not only awe-inspiring, but easy on the pocketbook as well. Send us your fun, unique, and healthy recipe by visiting healthyrockford.com, where you'll also find tips and tricks on taking the blah out of healthy eating. Hi, and welcome to the H Word. Today we are going to use a reader-submitted recipe given to us by David and Deanna Watts. It is an apple pear pandowdy. It is an old recipe passed down from generation to generation. Kind of a fun recipe for potlucks or for church thingies or birthdays or picnics or whatever you've got going on. It's very, very easy. It's going to be hot and delicious when we take it out of the oven. It's very simple. And we're giving you a reason to bake. A lot of people are scared of baking because baking is allegedly a science. Well, it's really not. Even recipes for baking can be interpreted your own way. This one particularly calls for cinnamon. If you love cinnamon, add more than what it calls for. If you don't love cinnamon, throw in some nutmeg or something, some allspice or some cloves or something interesting or different than cinnamon if you're not a fan. So we're going to start with, well, we've actually already kind of got a head start. I also wanted to share that we're in our new, another new location. This is out at Wesley Willows, a beautiful kitchen out here. We've already started with some apples and pears. We've got about 4 pears and 3 apples, somewhere in that category. So we're just going to peel a couple more. So we're going to use 1 more apple and 1 more pear. And we're going to go ahead and get all the skin off of there best we can. And like I said, if you want to leave a little bit on there for additional nutrition, that's fine too. These have been washed, and these pears are super juicy. There's no particular kind of pears, according to David and Deanna Watts. I would say your favorite. Also your favorite baking apples. For me, in the fall, love to go out to Edwards and get their the Jonathans. For me, that's the best when it comes to baking apples. Those are my fave. So we're basically just going to cut these into little bits, little chunks. What do you call them? What do you call these little bits that we're cutting? These little itty-bitty wedgie thingies. That's what we're going to call them, wedgie thingies. And we're just going to cut those into nice chunks because they're going to bake down and get all nice and juicy with a wonderful crumbly topping on top. This is something that you can come home from work, whip it together with the kids, throw it in the oven, let the oven do all the work while the kids are doing homework. Kids do homework anymore? So a whole lot of chopping right there. Apples, pears, and once these are chopped up and added to your casserole, 2-quart Pyrex is fine, a glass, metal, whatever you've got handy. You're going to spray just a tiny bit of Pam in there. Again, when a recipe says coat your pan with Pam or cooking spray, they don't actually mean coat it. Don't dump it all in there. We don't need that much. Just a tiny little spray, enough to keep the fruit and good crumbly toppings from sticking to the side. That's the idea. I'm going to watch our oils. And this is a pretty healthy recipe. There's actually no sodium in this one. So once we've got our vegetables, I'm still learning the difference. This is an apple. That would be a fruit. So we're going to go ahead and get these chopped up and throw those into the pan. Get them kind of all tossed together. And according to Dave and Deanna's recipe, we're going to add some agave nectar as our sweetener. And blue agave nectar is actually made from cactus, I believe. And that's open with just a little drizzle on there. And then we're going to top that with some cinnamon. And again, cinnamon can be purchased in all kinds of different crazy flavors and things. So a little bit of cinnamon on there. I like cinnamon. And apples, they kind of go hand in hand. So we're just going to lightly layer some agave nectar and some cinnamon in there. Just kind of toss to coat. And then we're going to move on to making our topping. There's one other piece of information that's really interesting about agave nectar. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's not very pricey, and this size bottle is going to go really far. I can't remember all the details. I'm actually going to tell you what it says. This is actually gotten from the agave, the blue agave plant, and it's got a low glycemic index. That means a lot to anybody who's got diabetes out there. And so it is slowly absorbed into the body, preventing spikes in blood sugar. Good news. It is 1.25 times sweeter than sugar, so you need way less. Now, I learned that the hard way because I tried to use this in place of honey one time, and it was way too sweet. So if you've got something that calls for a 1/2 cup of honey, start out with maybe 1/8 of a cup of this, maybe just a tiny bit more, and then taste it and make sure you're okay. Really good stuff for you. Really fun little product.
We welcome you to dine with us at Giovanni's. Come for our great service and classic dining. Giovanni's has been in business for over 30 years. Saturday night, come enjoy our famous prime rib dinner for only $14.95. Giovanni's on North Bell School Road in Rockford.
Okay, we are now ready for our crumbly topping for our beautiful apple pear pandowdy. Again, submitted by David and Deanna Watts. Thank you so much for sending that in. And by the way, if any of you have additional recipes that you want to send in as a reader-submitted recipe for consideration in future shows, send them off to thehword@artstar.com and let us know that you're interested in seeing your recipe online, and we'll do our best to put it on there. So we're taking a 1 full cup of whole wheat flour. And you can use, well, according to David and Deanna's recipe, it's whole wheat flour. I was going to say you can actually purchase wheat, a white wheat mix. You can make your own white wheat mix. So this is their recipe, a cup of whole wheat flour and about 1/4 cup of vegan butter or oil. He said that he uses, what does he use? Extra virgin coconut oil is what David uses when he's making his recipe at home. And so that would be fine as well. If you're wanting to be creative, again, a recipe is only a guideline. So try a little applesauce in there if you're wanting to skip your oils altogether. If you have heart issues, diabetic issues, high blood pressure, and you're going to want to monitor the amount of oils that you're putting into your body. So we've got a cup of whole wheat flour. We've got about 1/4 cup of vegan butter that we're using today with extra calcium. And then it also calls for 1/4 cup of agave nectar. So we're going to use that as well to make our crumbly topping. And that is basically it. We're just going to get that all blended. We're going to go ahead and use this to go on top of our apples. We have a preheated oven at 350 degrees. So that's all ready. And this concoction is going into the oven for 1 full hour. And then after the hour is done, take it out, stir it all kind of together and get the crumblies all sort of mixed and incorporated into the apples. This is going to go back into the oven for another 15 minutes, and then we're going to take it out. It'll be all crispy and fabulous. And actually, I'm going to use my hands because that looks like it's way more fun. And we're just going to kind of lightly distribute our little dough bits on top of our apples. Just like this. If it's a little too doughy, you can go ahead and add just a bit more flour. And that's going to be fabulous. I can just smell that agave nectar, nice and sweet, and the cinnamon in the apples. If you wanted to add a little bit more cinnamon to the flour mixture, that would be fine too. The whole wheat flour is excellent. Lots of good nutrients in there, better than white refined or bleached flour. We don't want to put bleach in our bodies, do we? I don't. All kind of evenly on top there. And then that heat from the oven, the baking's going to get that all nice and crispy. And we're ready to rock. I think it's ready to go. So into the oven we go with this for the first hour. Let that bake and take its sweet time. Fill the house with a fabulous aroma. Encourage all the neighbors to come on over and see what you're doing. And then again, we pull that out after an hour, stir it all together, get it all incorporated, put it back in for another 15, and then we're ready to eat it. And we're going to serve it, I think, today with a little ice cream. So here we go. Okay, well, we are all set with our apple pear pandowdy. What that word means, I don't know. We're going to have to contact David and Deanna Watts. And I want to say thank you so much for this amazing recipe. Reader submitted. Again, if any of you are interested in sending in recipes that you think are your favorite, most healthy recipe, send it in to thehword@artstar.com. We also want to say thanks to Wesley Willows. You can check them out at wesleywillows.org for allowing us to use their beautiful environment. These units are for sale, apparently. So please contact them there. And I just wanted to make sure that you all get to see how fabulous this is. And you'll be able to taste how fabulous it is if you make it yourself. The H word.